guys, it's Ashley from the Candle Collective, and I'm bringing you a video update today all about my thoughts on Inventora. If you're new to my channel, you might want to refer back to my first video all the way back if you really want to dig into the archives about inventory management systems. But I'm going to give you the quick 411 here first. My name's Ashley. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I like to create businesses and thankfully keep them going. And my latest journey on this channel has been starting a candle business and taking you guys along with me. Now, here's the down and dirty of what's happened. Back in about my first year of business, I knew that I needed to keep track of my inventory a bit better than my Excel sheet. I wasn't keeping up with it. So I started with a business called Crafty Base. It was online software. I used it for about probably 2 years of my business. That's very rough. But I was like really upset with a few things that were happening. It was super robust. Felt like it was just like not jiving with what I was needing, and I found that the way in which I was getting support wasn't exactly helping the way in which I work. That's the down and dirty version of it, but I obviously have some videos that I will link below, so if you are really in the woes of needing an inventory management system, I suggest going through those videos that I've made and then getting you caught up to speed to this moment here. At the beginning of this year, I decided that instead of being that person that just complains and expects a different result, I was going to take matters into my own hands, and I reached out to a company named Inventora. And they're an online software company as well, and I've been hearing about them through the candle making world. I decided that I was going to actually sit my butt down instead of complaining about one thing and try out something different, and then I was going to take you guys along with me, obviously. So that leaves me to the next step. I decided to make a video comparing Crafty Base to the new system Inventora that I was trying out. And I think that's pretty much where we've left off at that point. And rightfully so, you guys have asked me for an update. And I've got one, because now I'm a few months into using Inventora, and I've got some highs and lows that I wanted to share with you guys. Now, not to overwhelm you, I decided to make this like a quick bullet point information video. And if you obviously have some more questions, then I can go into a deeper dive video for you guys. But I feel like you guys can kind of connect the dots for yourself, and I don't want to drag anyone through the mud or do anything like that, because I got some really interesting feedback last time that I did that when I got really into the weeds. So I'm just going to keep it short and simple and let you guys know from my perspective as a small business candle maker what I need, what is working, and what doesn't. Let's go. But first and foremost, I've been using Inventora for I think about 4 to 5 months now, and just full disclosure, I do receive commission on anybody who signs up for them through a link that I obviously will have for you guys below, because if you find that it's a good fit for you, then I want you to do that. Full disclosure, I don't pay for the service right now. I think eventually that does run up. I think I'm on a trial with them. I'm not really sure. Probably should circle back. Anyway, I do believe that they had a cheaper price than Crafty Base, but that was in my other video, so do your homework on that. One of the things that I have found with using Inventora that I do like, all in all, is that it does sync to my Shopify. And it syncs to my Shopify both ways, meaning that it doesn't just download information into Shopify. It also takes information from Shopify and downloads information into Inventora. So meaning that if I change inventory counts in Inventora, it will update it in Shopify, and vice versa. If I update inventory counts in Shopify, it will do the same thing in Inventora. I do like that. Now here's the thing. I have trust issues. It's called a spade a spade. There have been times where I've gone in and triple checked or double checked, and I have noticed that Inventora is running a old number as opposed to what I've maybe updated in Shopify. It's not all the time, and it's very few and far between. I don't really know what that glitch is. It could possibly be user error, but it is something that I'm trying to be more aware of, because just yesterday this happened and it just tinged my spidey senses, and I'm a little worried about it. So in full transparency, I wanted to share that with you guys. But I will say 9 times out of 10, I have not found an issue with this, but there is that one case scenario every once in a while where I'm like, why is that number in Inventora not updating based on what I've updated in Shopify? And again, it could be user error, but it does cause me pause. This also gives me a little segue into the next piece, which is I'm really bothered, and maybe this is my own fault, but I'm bothered that there isn't a report, because you know I'm an analytics queen and I love my reports. I love my numbers. I could just burrow into them and hibernate for the winter because I love proof. I love facts, and those are numbers. I haven't found an actual report in Inventora on their like analytics reporting page that is like a, girl, you need to order this shit immediately. I know that when I go into my materials page, it shows me everything in red that's getting in low stock, and I can like obviously like sort and filter it. I don't want to have to go and like download that every single time. I just kind of want to have a notification or something pop up to say, you've got 13 items right now that really need ordering. You've got 13 active items right now that really need ordering, or something. I don't know. And that is probably just a preference based on the way I work and the way that like I respond to things that need action. And I know everybody's different. So Inventora, I'm sorry if that's just like a huge pain in the ass and you're like, girl, we do this based on like the masses and how they all respond to things. And you're just like a needle in a haystack. And that's totally fair. But that was something within Crafty Base that I could go in and do. And that might be just the pain in the butt right there because I'm used to it one way. And then now I came in and they had to like grandfather me into something I was used to. Before all of this, I didn't know any different. But in Crafty Base, there was a way that I could go in and it was like a materials needed report. And it would just cut all the other fat out and be like, girl, you out. The other big thing that I really just cannot stand is in the production, when I go and I do like a production run, that's what I call it. So I go in and I say, hey, Inventora, I'm either planning to make all these candles or today I made all of these candles, and you can go through the steps of production all the way through completion. When I go into that, I want to be able to assign batch numbers. All of my candles are done off of batch numbers. So I know that I can put a warning label on the bottom of my vessel and I put the corresponding batch number. So I'm actually having to keep track in a separate Excel sheet, my batch numbers, and then I'm having to go in and keep track of all of these numbers and then like write in the notes what batch this actually was, because Inventora automatically slaps on a batch number themselves. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I guess it would make sense if my business was starting from scratch alongside Inventora, but I just feel very hard pressed about this, that I don't think that any brand new spanking candle maker from day one is going to have the wherewithal and understanding and confidence to be like, I am starting my candle business today and I know immediately that I need an inventory management system. So we're going to just be in this marriage together with your production and batch numbers. Maybe I'm just a jerk for thinking that, but I don't know. It just doesn't coincide. And I am like way too in bed with my batch numbers and my system that I'm not going to go and like renumber my system based on the random generic numbers that they're giving me, as opposed to the ones that have like already been working for the past 2.5 years for my business. So that is something that just like absolutely drives me bananas. And I do not know why I cannot just like assign a batch number. Like, for the love of all things sanity wise, I just want to put my own number on it. I don't know. I need to chill. I also need a batch number that I can put on there. Anyway, another thing that I have noticed, and this was with both systems, Crafty Base and Inventory, is slow. And obviously you can tell by the rate in which I speak, but I need to move at a certain pace. I got shit to do. I need to move at a speed that is recognizable with the system in which I'm working with, and I just need it to go. And for some reason, and I've tested it both at my home and at my workshop space, so I know it's not the internet, I know it's not like, it's two different computers, it's two different providers, it's slow. And I don't really know why. I mean, I get when it's a large production run that I'm like moving to completion and it's like filtering through all of the like inventory counts, like I can kind of understand that. But the one thing that is the slowest that I absolutely do not understand is when I go into Inventora and I am creating a sale for wholesale. And I have all my customers entered in there because I have a lot of repeat customers, thankfully. I go in and I pull up a repeat customer and I'm like typing in their name. I've done the wholesale drop down, typing in their name. I mean, we are like sitting down for tea, catching up on what our day has been. And that thing is like still thinking. And then I have to like, I'll like back out of it and then I'll like type it again. sometimes it'll like auto-populate other things. I don't know. It's got to be like a system glitch. I don't write anything. I don't know code. I don't know what it takes to run a back end of a website. But like something's up and it takes a while and your girl is impatient. And I'm very well understanding of that. And I feel like I'm factoring in my impatience of a buffer of time, but then there's like an additional buffer of time that we just need to be like aware of. So just like, sometimes I'll like set it and forget it. Like I'll just hit like send, or I'll hit like whatever I need and like I'll go do laundry and I'll like come back. Now that's being extra dramatic, but like I just don't have time. Like I need to go. And especially if I've carved out the time to like sit my ass down in front of a computer, which is very few and far between nowadays, I need to move. Something that I love, because I don't want Inventora to hate me, I love that there is a whole window of wholesale order creation. Now, and I talked about this in my initial video when I was comparing the two. I mean, when I saw this availability to be able to create a sale with wholesale as the item, so it's basically like creating a sale, but instead of it being for a direct to consumer, I allocate it as, instead of retail, it's wholesale. They immediately populate my wholesale numbers because those margins are absolutely different. Those selling points are absolutely different. And I'm obsessed. I don't know why. I just feel like I've like cheated a system or something, because Crafty Base did not have that. And I had to manually go in and not only obviously enter the quantity, but then I had to go in and I had to adjust the sale price. And that took forever. Talk about going and doing laundry in between, except I had to be a present guest at the party and I had to enter in that information. It drove me bananas. And 9 times out of 10, I would like slip a key and then, I have sausage fingers. And then I was like, oh shit. So I messed something up and then I had to go back and like check my work, which is like the worst for an impatient person. So kudos to Inventora for having the wholesale option. You can obviously tell it was done by a maker. I've added something recently that hopefully, if Inventora is listening, or maybe they're just checked out at this point because they're over my bullshit. But if they are listening, the thing that I like that they added was they added 2 categories where it's like you can mark if it's like prepared, fulfilled, whatever that is, and then you can mark if it's paid or not. So you can like keep track of like your billing. I obviously keep track of a lot of that in QuickBooks, but it's really nice for just like a bird's eye view, and it's all color coded, which like just screams attention getting, and I love. I need that for materials that need ordered. It's really nice because you can go in and you can say, well, this one's been fulfilled or delivered or whatever, but it hasn't been paid for. But the thing that I don't understand is that when I mark it fulfilled, even though I've said that it's a pickup order, it'll still have me allocate if it's been shipped through a carrier, and I have to like select a carrier. But I just have to go down and select other. I wish it would just already know from the previous screen that I had selected pickup, and then I can just say fulfilled and then we're done. So that would be really nice. A couple other things that I really just appreciate and love about Inventora is that the system is so welcoming and friendly. Like I felt like when I was going into Crafty Base, like I was literally like doing hard time. And I know that that's like very exaggerative and ridiculous. And as a girl who has led a very privileged life and obviously has not done any hard time, I hope you take that with a grain of salt. But I literally felt like I was going into like the days of yore there with like DOS system, trying to like input information and like scroll through and like use the space bar just to like get somewhere. And I don't know, Inventora is just so much nicer of a platform. I will say that I feel like we are kind of growing alongside Inventora in due time and in real time, because they have a lot of growing that they need to do. I think that Crafty Base is so robust and obviously has been around for a long time, and I think that they have a lot of functionality that like you couldn't even tap into. I think they just forgot that there was a huge gap between people who had used them forever and brand new users, and they didn't like meet anybody halfway. And I feel like Inventora is down here with like all these brand new users, and they're like trying to like fill in this gap to get to like, a robust system where they can do a bunch of things and still remain user friendly. And so I am going to stick with Inventora because I'm hoping that I can like be along for the ride for them to fill in that gap. But I do think that for the amount of business that I'm doing and for the amount of like production and kind of needs that I have, it is falling just a tad bit short for some of the needs specifically that I have. and where I'm at with my business growth. And not that I'm any like hot shit or anything, guys. I'm not trying to paint that picture, but I just feel like for the amount that I am producing and doing and going with, I just need it to be like a little more, you know, like a little something. But we're getting there. And I feel like Inventora is here and they've been really responsive. They've been really great to work with. Sometimes I'm like, why don't we just have like a live chat feature? I think we're all just spoiled by that, but then that's also really annoying for me to say because then I'm pretty sure I'm the one that bitches and moans whenever somebody's like, oh, well, why don't you just have free shipping? And it's like, because I'm not Amazon. So I digress on that point. I absolutely understand. Inventora, keep doing what you're doing. I absolutely do. Here, I'm cheering for you. I know I have some gripes, but hopefully we're all in this together and we can build on it and keep going. But I do wholeheartedly recommend people to try Inventora before trying Crafty Base. I 100% stamp of approval that, especially if you're looking for something that is user-friendly. You're looking for something that is like, if you're coming from like Excel or no system at all, don't even blink an eye at Crafty Base, y'all. You will just come back at me with like just arms up because you will be so pissed. That's how I felt. I was like, this is like an assault on my senses. It was just way too much. It does a lot, but it was just way too much. And I feel like Inventora, if you can just go with it and like learn as they're learning and as they're adding and as they're growing, I think that that's the way to go. Now, if you are like a tried and true, you've already tried inventory management systems, you know your way around a little like need mass reporting, need all that stuff, then Crafty Base is definitely going to be the way to go on that. But it's not without some qualms and some kinks in any system that you go with. But for the time being, I haven't felt any reason that I need to leave Inventora right now. And I will say that out of both systems, neither of them are perfect, but I will say that I have had a lot less frustrating days with Inventora. And for that, I call it a win. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please let me know. The comments are open and ready for you down below, and I would love to hear what you think. If you're using this system, I want to hear about it. If you have things that you want Inventora to do, maybe leave them below. Maybe they're watching and listening. I don't know. If you have things that I mentioned that you're like, hey, this is a workaround or this is something that you should try, please let me know, because I'll be honest, I have not devoted a ton of time to like really going out of my bounds with it and like exploring different ways in which to do things. So maybe one of the things that maybe came across as a bit of a negative here today is something that I could easily be fixing and it's a user error. So I'm totally all about serving up that humble pie and I will take a very big bite of it. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed, I would absolutely love that. My name is Ashley and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. Bye-bye.